Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's been too long, but I have a big box full of stuff and I have a couple announcements that I wanted to make, so I figured no time like the present to make a YouTube video. Firstly, if you are local to the Pennsylvania area, this Saturday, September 27th, I will be selling records in front of a Hidden Stories brewery in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania, from 8:30 to 4. It's part of the Market Street Festival here. So if you're local, come out, buy some records, chat. It'll be fun. I've got a lot of inventory that I'm trying to price up and work through, so hopefully I'll have some good titles, good things that some people want. I've got like a little psych box and stuff like that, so cool. I'll probably post some update about that. Secondly, I hit 2,000 subs, which is unbelievable. Thank you all so much for that. I know I haven't uploaded in a while, so it was a bit of a shock, but thank you. And with that over, we'll just start. Lonnie Liston Smith and the Cosmic Echoes, Visions of a New World. I found this in one of my local honey holes. It was such a good deal, like a pretty crazy deal. Figured I had to pick it up, and yeah, I've been really enjoying this one, and also picked up Reflections of a Golden Dream at the same time. These are both like cosmic funk records, like really just sort of like got this spacey vibe, and you just kind of float on top of the music, and it's just incredible. I mean, I love Lonnie Liston Smith. I highly recommend both of these, but especially this Visions of a New World. Great. This is an original on the Flying Dutchman label, which is, it's just a great, that label is just a great collection of like, usually sort of like avant-garde, jazz, funk, anything in that realm. So I try to get everything that I see on the Flying Dutchman label. But yeah, this is fantastic. I highly recommend both of these. Sam Cooke, live at the Harlem Square Club, 1963. I showed a couple Sam Cooke records in one of my previous videos, and everyone was like, you gotta find this record. And I found it for an incredible deal, and again, in one of my local like honey hole areas. And yeah, this is by far my favorite thing I've heard from Sam Cooke. There's a lot of energy here. It's so raw. It's just so good. I was reading that they wanted to release this album. Like, they recorded this album with the intention of releasing it in 1963, but the label thought it was just too raw and too raucous, I guess. Too much energy for their pop star Sam Cooke. So they held it for release, and someone found it, and thank God they put this out, because this is incredible. This is the original from the 80s, sometime 83 or something, when they put it back out, but phenomenal soul, R&B, funk stuff. To me, better than his studio stuff. And I got this Bill Withers live at Carnegie Hall. Again, this is just great. I mean, it's got like, it's obviously funk and soul, but some of the tracks are real funky. It's real nice. I've just been trying to up my Bill Withers collection, because I don't really come across his albums too much. I only have one. So yeah, this is a great selection of songs. This is a great band, and they're just doing great funky stuff. Love it. I've been pretty into the funk and soul stuff as of lately. This record, Earth, Wind & Fire's self-titled, I have been searching for this record for so long. And I went to the record show, and someone had this in a bin. It was $2. And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to get it. It's very beat up. It's not nice. But for $2, like, whatever. And yeah, I mean, this is also just like incredible, like psychedelic funk. Like it has that psychedelic edge to it, which is just so good. And this really, I mean, this I've played this so many times. Such a great record. Again, it's not in the best shape, but it's not in the worst shape, and it's playable. So I'm very happy to get it for that price. But man, is this a good record. I mean, I'm like really looking out for an upgrade. Ooh, this one is pretty sweet. Curtis Mayfield, Back to the World. This is an original on Kurtum, and it's a gatefold in the shrink wrap, which are very tough to come by. Because obviously, I mean, why would you not take the shrink wrap off? If I get a new sealed record and it's a gatefold, I take the shrink wrap off, you know? But for an old record like this, there's probably not that many gatefold copies that are still in the shrink, so I figured I would keep it on. I'm a Curtis Mayfield fanatic. I love everything he put out. Well, you know, up in his 70s output at least. He just hits that funky bone in my body just right. Yeah, I mean, you can't get better than Curtis Mayfield. I got another really good funk one, James Brown Reality. I think I showed this in just maybe even my last video, but I already got an upgrade, so that's pretty cool. It's a really nice copy, and I love this album. I mean, this is one of my favorite James Brown records that I've heard recently. You know, maybe not my favorite of all time, but just great funk. These next two are pretty dang cool. I found these. One of these I got at the record show. One of these was in an antique store for like a pretty crazy deal. John Coltrane, Soul Train. This is the 68 or so, or maybe later reissue of this record. Yeah, just a great jazz record. I mean, it's got Red Garland, Paul Chambers, and Art Taylor. Great. What's interesting, if you ever find a copy of this, they say at the top, this album has been electronically remastered for stereo. It's not. It's a straight mono cut. That's just a lie. They probably put that to sell more. Maybe they thought they could sell more copies if they put that in stereo, but no, this is straight a mono cut, and it sounds great. It is a really, really nice sounding repress, and significantly cheaper than the originals. So if you're looking to get a copy of this record, this is a great one to seek out. This copy is in the shrink wrap. Got a little sticker on the back. Pretty much perfect. The disc is perfect, so yeah, had to pick that up. Also, another great Coltrane record, Coltrane Live at Birdland. Now, I bought this from a booth at the record show, and I was under the impression that it was an original, but I really should have looked at the disc because it's a repress. It's from, you know, it's from the 60s, and it's a really clean mono copy, so I didn't get like completely burned buying this copy, but it was a little bit disappointing, but it was my fault, so you know, whatever. Yeah, this is great. It has actually a couple songs from that Soul Train record. I think maybe just one. I Want to Talk About You, I want to say. But yeah, this is just fantastic. I mean, I absolutely love John Coltrane. I've been really getting into all of his stuff, or trying to, you know. I love finding jazz records because it's not every day that I really come across them, so always happy to pick up on stuff like this. All right, now we're moving out of the funk soul realm and into more of the usual stuff for me, if you're into that. We've got some classic records, like this one. Lou Reed's self-titled first record. Yeah, I've been on a Velvet Underground kick, so when I found this when I was out digging, I was super excited to pick up on it. It's a really, really nice copy, and yeah, I love this record. This is just great. Got that punk edge to it that Lou Reed and the Velvet Underground stuff has. I took this out and I was looking at the back, and I saw the personnel listing, and I was shocked because I was just going down. I saw Steve Howe and Rick Wakeman from Yes playing on this record, which is just amazing. I mean, that's so cool. Entirely like out of context for them. I feel like this is something that I wouldn't have ever guessed that they would be a part of a Lou Reed record, but it's cool to hear them on this record, and yeah, really enjoyed this one. This next one is kind of cool. I bought a collection of records from a guy who was downsizing his collection, and this was in part of the advertisement of the Facebook listing, and I was like, wow, that's pretty sick. So I decided I'd keep it. This is Here They Come by Paul Revere and the Raiders, but it is signed by all the members, which is really cool. Like, I probably normally wouldn't want to keep a copy in this shape, but having the cover signed by all of them, you know, I really do enjoy Paul Revere and the Raiders, even if they are like super duper cheesy. But I think this is their first record on a major label. They did a couple of records before this that are pretty hard to find and collectible. But side one is a live record. And let me tell you, these guys were really, like, had an edge to them. I mean, it is rock and garage rock. You know, this is like almost like proto-punk level stuff, which it sounds like so dumb coming from Paul Revere and the Raiders. But man, when they were live, they were kicking it. And side one, it's covers, but they're really good, and they really all have this edge to them that is, you know, the stuff that you want with garage rock. Side two is kind of not so great to me. I mean, it was like studio recordings, maybe a little more on the ballady type songs. They're kind of trying to imitate the Stones on that side, I feel like. But yeah, just great rock and garage rock. This is an original mono, and yeah, signed by everyone. Why not just keep it? You know, it's pretty cool. I've got a couple really good folk records here. Bob Dylan's Self-Titled. This is a 62 mono, but it is not the 6i, unfortunately. But I met this guy who's local to where I am, and we've kind of been dealing some records in the past couple weeks. And he had this for sale, and he gave it to me for a sweet deal because it's got this cover damage at the bottom and the seams are split. And yeah, I mean, I put this on and I didn't know what I was expecting because I had watched the documentary No Direction Home. It's based off of the D.A. Pennybacker films from the 66 tour. But the first half, he's talking about stuff like this record and how it came to be and stuff. And he said he didn't like it, like after he recorded it, like he thought he did it all wrong and he wanted to do it again. So I kind of had this impression that maybe it's not, you know, up to his standard, and so maybe it's not like a super great folk record. And it features a lot of, you know, covers, which is not really what you are expecting with Bob Dylan. You know, he's so famous as a songwriter. But this is so good. I absolutely adored this when I played it. I mean, it has such a great energy. I just love Bob Dylan, I've realized. It's very akin to the style of the Freewheelin'. The Freewheelin' and this one kind of pair together pretty well. Like, they are very similar in that way. But it's a great record. This is another one that I picked up at the record show that I've just been loving recently. I mean, this has been on the turntable very consistently. John Martin, Solid Air. Just an incredible mix of folk and blues and experimental music. It's just phenomenal. He has a lot of connections with Nick Drake. They were on the same label and they were buddies. Used to play music together and stuff. And they kind of have a similar vibe, But I'd say John Martin is definitely a little more on the experimental side with his music. Um, but what an incredible songwriter. I mean, the two songs that just tug at my heartstrings are Over the Hill and May You Never. Those are just perfect folk songs in my opinion. This is my utmost highest recommendation right now. It's just an incredible journey listening to this record, and it's like you're really immersed in the music. Um, but if you're into that folky experimental stuff, if you're into Nick Drake, this is something you'll love. It's phenomenal. Alan Holdsworth is this is like almost a completely different world. Velvet Darkness. I was in this antique store, and there's these guys at the front. The guy who owns the antique store operates the record booth there, and there are these two guys at the front, and they were trading some records. And I was just talking to them about music and stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, there's a bunch of Alan Holdsworth records in here." And I was like, "Oh man, he's great. You know, I really been looking out for some Alan Holdsworth." And the guy was like, "Here, you can just have this one." And that is like the pinnacle of record collecting for me. When people genuinely want you to enjoy something, and they really care about like you. I didn't even know these guys, but they just cared that the person, someone having the record, would enjoy the music more than them. Or they perceived it that way. I'm not sure if that's entirely true, but he just didn't know who Alan Holdsworth was. And if you don't, he is a guitar wizard. He's one of the most unique guitar players I've ever heard in my life. This is very much in the experimental jazz fusion progressive realm. But the way he plays the guitar is just so different. This is his first solo record, I believe, and this was the one that I was like really looking out for. So I'm like really was blown away that he would just give away a record like this. This is a great jazz fusion record. If you're into that weird stuff, if you want to have your mind blown by a guitar player, I feel like he's not really comparable to anyone. If I had to make a connection, I would say maybe John McLaughlin. And if you know John McLaughlin, it's just mind-blowing playing. I've never heard anything like it. It's just amazing. This is one that I've had before, but I purged it because I think it was a reissue and I just wasn't listening to it. So again, I was dealing with that guy, local guy, and this one was in here and it was sweet priced, so figured I had to buy it. Klaatu. This album's technically called 3:47 Eastern Standard Time or something. I don't know. But in the US it was just released as the self-titled. I'm sure most of you know this band, but if you're not familiar, in the 70s, this band was rumored to be like a secret group that was just the Beatles, and they were getting back together to record a secret record. If you listen to it, there are a couple tracks that are like, okay, yeah, I can totally see that, and there are a couple tracks where it's like, that's just not them at all. But yeah, I mean, if you're a Beatles fan, I think you'll enjoy this record. It moves a little bit into that progressive sort of realm, but it's kind of like a power pop record. I'm not the biggest fan of a couple of the tracks, but overall, it's just a really great, really upbeat, feel-good album. It opens up with the song Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft. And that is just an incredible track. I've always loved that song, but I haven't heard it in a very long time. So it was so nice to find this record and sort of reconnect with it. If you like Beatle-esque type music, if you like a little bit more progressive version of the Beatles, I think that's what this is. it's a great record. This is another one that's in that progressive realm, but entirely different area of prog rock. This is Osana, Milano Calibro 9. I might be butchering that name, but this is an Italian prog band. And yeah, I found this at, again, one of my local honey holes, and I was like just immediately intrigued by this cover and by the label too. It's on PI. This is a really, really great prog record. It is very much on the symphonic side of prog. There's lots of string arrangements and stuff going on in here, but there's also like down and dirty, heavy guitar riffage, great guitar solos, stuff like that happening. If you're into that, like super progressive stuff, this is definitely one to check out. This record I have been searching for years and years, and I have just never been able to find a copy. This record just completely eludes me for whatever reason. Until now, I finally found a copy. Like, I think I've been looking for this for at least four years, you know, which is kind of crazy for what this record is. The Amboy Dukes Migration. Man, have I been enjoying this record. Yeah, I put this in my want list when I was very early on into collecting, and this was one of the first Psych records I think I ever listened to. Yeah, it's just a great one. This is by far my favorite Amboy Dukes record. It opens up with the instrumental track Migration, which is just a great psychedelic journey. It kind of sets the mood for the record. Yeah, this features Rusty Day on vocals, who later went on to Cactus. And of course, if you didn't know, the Amboy Dukes featured Ted Nugent on guitar, he's phenomenal. I mean, he's a crazy guy, but he is a great guitar player. But yeah, this record goes through all the sort of standard psychedelic stuff. It has these hard rockin', heavy moments. Got the screaming vocals of Rusty Day. It's just incredible. I mean, this is a fantastic record. I really, really love this one. I'm probably going to be spinning this on the radio this coming Friday at 9 p.m. If you want more info, I'll put something in the comments about it. But yeah, a great record. Really, really so stoked to have found that. This next album is one I've been looking for like so long. Again, finally found a copy, so I'm pretty happy. The Mother of Invention, Freak Out. This is an original mono, and it's got that sweet limited edition sticker, and it's the hotspot ad version, if you know what all that jargon means. I love Frank Zappa, but I have never really been able to get into the Mother stuff, particularly. I've always tried to, because I know that there's greatness in these records. This one I really, really liked. I feel like it's maybe a little bit more palatable in some weird way than some of the other ones, and I'll just picked up this one too from the same guy, Absolutely Free, but we'll get into that. But this one, it's got the weird avant-garde stuff, mainly on disc 2, but this one has a great collection of like more of the stuff that's in that psychedelic vein that I enjoy. Yeah, this is, to me, it's maybe a little bit over the line of like what for me is like super weird and difficult sometimes, but that's the point of the music. Like, it's not meant to be easy to listen to or anything, but I really, really enjoyed disc 1 of this. It was a pleasant surprise to me. I've heard this album before, but I'd intentionally like kept myself from listening to it until I got a copy in my hands, and now I have a copy in my hands, and I really enjoyed it. So perhaps this could be my gateway into the Mothers. But before I bought that one, I bought this copy of Absolutely Free. This is a pretty nice first press, like very solid shape. Yeah, this is on all the lists of like Psych collectors need these records and stuff, you know, any list like that. But I don't know, I found this one a little difficult too. I think it opens really strong. I really like the Call Any Vegetable suite. That's great. There's just it's just weird stuff. Obviously weird stuff, but yeah, I'm gonna keep this one, and I'm gonna do what I can to listen to it and to try to understand it, because I do really care about liking this Mother's stuff. I mean, I love Frank Zappa. I love his solo career. I love Freak Out. So we'll get it. I'll get it. And from that same guy that I've been dealing with, picked up this. Jimi Hendrix Smash Hits. This is a first Japanese press. No obi, but it does have the lyric sheet. This is just so sweet. Like, I saw this, and he sent me like a picture of the albums, and I saw this, and I was like, ugh, I need that. It's not the best copy in the world, but this is by far the best pressing I've ever heard of Smash Hits. I had a first UK mono, and it sounds like garbage. It sounds so bad. But this one, all of the songs just pop, and it just explodes out of the speakers. And I've played this a couple times. I'm not usually a greatest hits fan, but this one, specifically not the US copies, but like the UK copies, it includes a bunch of non-album singles. If you're seeking out a great sounding pressing of Smash Hits, I would go with the first Japanese, because my God, this was good. And it's just, I love collecting alternate artwork, stuff like that, so needed to have that. This is like probably one of my favorite concerts of all time. I've listened to this concert so many times, and I've watched the video, the concert footage, at least as much of it as I could get access to, multiple times. 1967, live at the Monterey Pop. That's a great picture. But yeah, just the best versions of these early Hendrix songs. I mean, it opens up with Killin' Floor, and it's just smoking. The amount of energy there is ridiculous. I can't imagine like sitting in this audience, never having heard of Jimi Hendrix, and just that coming out of, you know, the band in front of you. This version of Foxy Lady is down-tuned, and it is heavy. It is so heavy for 1967. It's just great. And of course, it's got all the great tracks. Ends with Wild Thing, where he lights his guitar on fire. If you've seen the footage, you know that if you only listen to it, you're missing all of his stage antics that he's getting up to. Like playing with his teeth and obviously lighting the guitar on fire, which is represented here in this pretty bad cover artwork, I think. Yeah, this is absolutely phenomenal. This press sounds great. I've been really enjoying this. I threw this concert on Spotify all the time, so I'm super happy to have that. This one was a complete shock. I was just digging in an antique store nearby, and this was here for like, I'll just tell you, it was like $15. I was like, whoa. And I immediately, when I saw the cover, my jaw just dropped. I was so excited. This is the Yardbirds, self-titled, or Roger the Engineer. This is a 1969 UK repress. I've had a Japanese press of this for so long, which sounds great, and it will be for sale at my selling event if you're interested in it. I like collecting albums from where the band's from, if that makes sense. Uh, and yeah, I mean, this was just so shocking to find in rural Pennsylvania here. Uh, but yeah, it's got the flip back cover, so can't complain. Sounds great. This has this is really like a gem of a record. There's a lot of like blues and classic sort of rock influence, but obviously got singles like Over, Under, Sideways, Down. I think my favorite song on this record is Turn Into Earth. Um, just this fantastic psychedelic track. I mean, it's just so good. But yeah, very R&B based, but this record is so ahead of its time for 1966. And Jeff Beck is one of the greatest to ever do it, you know? And this is the only album that features only Jeff Beck on guitar of the Yardbirds. Yeah, I mean, this is just an absolutely essential record, and it's really become one of my favorite albums just of all time. I mean, I'm a big 60s head, so this stuff always gets me. And finally, another album I've been searching for forever, this specific version. This is The Doors, self-titled, and as you can see down there, and maybe on the label, this is a first mono. I've had one of these before, but it was so wrecked, like it wasn't even listenable. So got rid of that copy, and I got this reasonable copy. These are never in good shape. It's decent. But I was scrolling through Marketplace, and someone had this listed individually, and for like a really good deal, because obviously they probably didn't know that it was that the mono versions go for significantly more. But yeah, one of the most interesting things about this copy specifically is, I don't know if you can see the groove wear. You can definitely see the groove wear over Light My Fire. Whoever had this copy really loved Light My Fire. Yeah, that's probably the most glaring issue with the album. I mean, it plays fine. It actually sounds very good. I love this mono mix. This is one to always look out for, because it's a somewhat common album, you know. But if you ever see the mono indication down here, or the little mono sticker put over it, pick it up, you know, especially if it's a clean copy. But yeah, this is an acceptable mono copy. I'm happy to have it. It's replacing my stereo copy, because I just enjoy the mono mix. And I think one of the reasons why this is more sought after is you can hear Jim Morrison's little mumbled swears at the end of the end, which is like not present at all in the stereo mix, it was pretty shocking to hear it, because I don't think I've ever listened to a mono copy, like an actual real mono physical copy. You know, I've heard the mono mixes online, but it's just one of those record collector things. I feel like I just really wanted to have a mono of this, and I'm very happy to have it. And that's it for this gigantic stack of records. I will try to put out, maybe I'll include a little flip video of stuff I'm gonna put out for sale this coming Saturday. But if you're local, I would love to see you there. It would be really, it's just fun to connect with the community and stuff. And it's, the fair is like, it's more than just records, you know. Obviously, it's food and jewelry, and any vendor you can think of under the sun is there. So it's a really, really nice event in any ways, if you just want to have something to do this weekend. But I will be there. So yeah, that's all I've got in finds for the past 2 months or whatever. It's been really hectic, but thanks for watching, and thanks for 2,000 subs. That's amazing. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.